Gross domestic product is the market value of all final goods and services produced in one country in 1 year. This includes things like phones, tablets, computers, food items, and vehicles.
Nominal GDP is GDP measured in current prices. It does not account for inflation from year to year. Real GDP is GDP expressed in constant or unchanging dollars. Inflation is adjusted to real GDP.
The formula for GDP is C plus I sub G plus G plus X sub N. C stands for consumption expenditures, I sub G stands for gross investment from businesses, G stands for government expenditures, and X sub N stands for net exports from foreigners and spending, which equals exports minus imports. Consumption expenditures include purchases made by the individuals of a country such as technology, food items, and household supplies. Gross investment by businesses is basically when businesses purchase products and invest to increase the output of their business as a whole. Government expenditures is money spent by the government. Net exports are the amount by which foreign spending on a home country's goods and services exceeds the home country's spending on foreign goods and services. An example of this is a Chinese man buying New Balance shoes that were made in America.
The first top indicator of GDP is economic growth. There are different parts on an economic graph. The first is a peak, next is a recession, then a trough, and finally a recovery. The second top indicator is price stability. The price of stability is the measure of the rate of inflation in the prices of goods and services in a given country. The final top indicator is full employment. Full employment looks at the unemployment rate, which is about 4 to 6%.
GDP can be calculated using two methods. These methods are the income and expenditure approach. The income approach looks at the earnings collected from selling goods and services in one's country. An example of this is looking at the amount of money that companies such as Apple bring in as revenue. The only difference would be that instead, the income approach looks at all the money from all the firms in a given country. The expenditure approach looks at the amount of money spent in buying goods and services in one's country. An example of this is looking at how much money households spend on electronics such as iPhones and iPads. The only difference would be that instead, the expenditure approach looks at all the categories of goods and services purchased in one's country. Things that are not counted in GDP are grouped into three categories. These categories are intermediate goods, non-production transactions, and non-market activities. Intermediate goods include goods that have not yet made it to the production side of their lifespan, where they are ready to be sold. This could include tires that have been purchased but have not yet categories. These categories are intermediate goods, non-production transactions, and non-market activities. Intermediate goods include goods that have not yet made it to the production side of their lifespan, where they are ready to be sold. This could include tires that have been purchased but have not yet been put on the cars in the assembly line, or potatoes that have not yet been cut and fried into French fries. Production transactions are goods or services that are not being bought or sold. This would include taxes, bonds, or transfer payments such as Social Security. Non-market activities include black market sale and production or any other transactions that go on outside the legally recognized parameters of sale in a given country. Examples of these include goods or drugs or weapons that are sold illegally on the black market.
Domestic product is easy. The final goods and services produced in the country in a given year. But don't forget, my dear, the GDP that we're talking about is real. It ain't nominal, keep inflation in the deal. It's nominal value over price index times 100. It's true, you won't hesitate no more, no more. Econ so great, I'm sure. approach at all the final. C is for consumption bought by people like you and me. I see investment paid by companies. And export minus import, and G is governmental. Now you won't hesitate no more, no more. Econ so great, I'm sure there's no need to complicate GDP anymore. You love, not hate, I'm sure. Scooch on over closer, dear. Here's the graph for this year. Do-do-do-do-do. Now you won't hesitate no more, no more. Econ so great, I'm sure there's no need to complicate GDP anymore. You love, not hate, I'm sure. Now we won't hesitate no more, no